Hey everyone, SentinelOne announced first quarter fiscal year 2025 earnings results that sent the stock price down more than 10% following the announcement. Of course, coming into the quarter, I did not have SentinelOne stock rated as a buy. I told investors not to buy this stock, but following these earnings results, I will update my recommendation. So I'll review what the company said in the latest quarter that disappointed stock market investors. I'll highlight the reasons for the decrease, and then I'll update my recommendation for SentinelOne stock and let you know if I think it's a buy, hold, or a sell. So let's get started.
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.
All right, SentinelOne said they delivered 40% revenue growth in the latest quarter and their first ever quarter of positive free cash flow, which is a huge milestone for any company. The company saying that their advancements in artificial intelligence are redefining cybersecurity. And the cybersecurity industry needs to adapt to the growing changes in the industry. Artificial intelligence is making it easier and more complicated to conduct cybersecurity attacks. And so cybersecurity companies need to use artificial intelligence to counter the attackers that are using cybersecurity and artificial intelligence for these attacks. And the growing complexity of the industry is going to require growing adaptation from these companies, and enterprises are now finding it necessary to spend more money on cybersecurity because more of their business is conducted online, conducted digitally. So the industry has a strong tailwind going forward for not just this decade, but the next decade and beyond. As more and more of our lives go digital, more and more spending will need to be allocated to cybersecurity. Now, the CFO saying that their quarterly performance exceeded the top and bottom line expectations, and they anticipate the good times to continue. They're forecasting delivering best-in-class growth again this year. Yeah, 40% revenue growth is among the leaders in terms of cybersecurity companies. They are among the best in terms of revenue growth in among their peers. So the growth on the top line improved its margins. The GAAP operating margin came in at negative 43%. That was a huge improvement from negative 86%. Now, I don't mind companies losing money on the bottom line, but I do require that they make progress towards profitability if they want me to consider recommendation as a buy. I don't like companies that are just going in the wrong direction without making any improvements towards profitability. A lot of the electric vehicle companies are demonstrating that kind of performance where revenue is growing, but profit margins are just worsening. I don't like to see that. I'm not saying that's what SentinelOne is doing. SentinelOne is doing the opposite. They're losing money on the bottom line, but those losses are shrinking as their revenue is growing. And already they hit the inflection point in terms of cash flow. Operating cash flow turned positive 23% compared to negative 21% in the same quarter last year. And free cash flow also turned positive 18% compared to negative 24% in the same quarter last year. Now, cash flow is more important than profitability when both are negative, because if you're losing cash, that means you have to continue going back to investors to ask for more money. Whereas if you're positive cash flow, but you're still negative in terms of profitability, that's okay, because at least your business is self-sustaining. You're generating free cash flow, and you don't need to go back to investors and ask for more money. The difference between cash flow and bottom line or net income has to do with non-cash expenses. Many companies use non-cash expenses, for instance, stock-based compensation. They have to account for that on the income statement as a cost, but since they're paying their employees with stock options or stock grants, that's not cash leaving the company. So they can still be positive cash flow while being negative operating profit, which is what's happening with SentinelOne in the most recent quarter. Now, like I reminded you, I did not have SentinelOne stock rated as a buy. I had it rated as a hold or market perform, and I last updated that recommendation on April 15th. Management saying that they're just scratching the surface of a massive addressable market opportunity that's ripe for disruption. The company saying that customer expansion rates remain healthy. Similar to last quarter, a large part of their business was driven by new customer additions, which we believe will open doors for expansion over time as these customers increase their spending year over year. Enterprises continue to select SentinelOne over legacy and next generation security vendors in a majority of competitive evaluations. Our technology comes out on top across capabilities, be it endpoint security, cloud, data, or artificial intelligence. Our win rates combined with top-ranked customer service reviews, superior performance speaks to the true success of SentinelOne. And they are demonstrating best-in-class growth. And some of the others in the industry, I guess SentinelOne is growing at the expense of companies like Palo Alto Networks, which is experiencing a significant slowdown in growth, so much so that they're taking drastic measures to try and regain market share. SentinelOne doesn't appear to be doing that, so that was good news. In the last couple of reports I've seen from cybersecurity companies, including SentinelOne and what was the recent one I just reviewed? Zscaler, that's right. SentinelOne and Zscaler had solid results in their most recent quarters. That's gotten me a little more bullish about the cybersecurity industry. I had gotten a little bit concerned when I saw the results from Palo Alto Networks and Fortinet, but now that I've seen the results from Zscaler and SentinelOne, I'm a little more optimistic. I'm still waiting on the results from CrowdStrike to give me a more well-rounded view of the industry and the performance so far in 2024 and the competitive dynamics going forward. In terms of their guidance for the full year, SentinelOne saying that they expect revenue in the range of 808 to 815 million. And for the full year, that would reflect growth of roughly 31% at the midpoint. That would be a slowdown from the current rate of growth of 40% in the first quarter. So they expect revenue growth to slow down as the year progresses. That was a little bit disappointing. That was one of the reasons why the stock price was down following the first quarter earnings release, as well as a bigger than expected loss on the bottom line that sent the stock price lower. Now, SentinelOne is not a cheap stock, is trading at a forward price to earnings of 63.67, which is the reason why I did not have the stock rated as a buy, is because of the expensive valuation. The company is generating solid growth. The company is generating nice expansion in terms of cash flow and free cash flow, although the valuation is still a little bit rich. So if I was to update my recommendation on SentinelOne stock, I'm keeping it rated as a hold. Although I wouldn't be surprised if after I view the results from CrowdStrike, I upgrade SentinelOne stock. Part of the reason why I'm not rating SentinelOne a buy is because of my competitive concerns for the cybersecurity industry. Given what Palo Alto Networks is initiating, the market share program, I'm still a little bit cautious. I want to see CrowdStrike's results so that I can determine how competitive dynamics are working in the industry overall. I've liked what I've seen from Zscaler and SentinelOne. I didn't like what I see from Palo Alto Networks and Fortinet. So I liked two, I didn't like two, and now I'm waiting for CrowdStrike to see how the industry is evolving. So I'll keep you posted. I'll keep you updated on this very intriguing industry, to be sure. Did you know that over 90% of the people that watch my channel are not subscribed? It'll really help support my channel if you hit that subscribe button. And oh, by the way, one of the benefits of being subscribed is that I take requests from subscribers more often than I do from non-subscribers. So if you prefer that benefit, please subscribe to the channel.